Welcome to Marvel Maniac and MCU After Show. This is Eric Cicada, your host, aka Mr. Honest of the Mr. Honest podcast, and all your favorite streaming services. If this is your first time being here, welcome. I did cover all of WandaVision. If you didn't catch any of those, you're welcome to go back. If not, welcome. We did just watch a brand new entry into the MCU today. We paved new way. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Last week in my WandaVision after show, I think there may have been 2 times where I accidentally called it the Hawkeye and the Winter Soldier twice. Forgive me. Nobody called me out on that. I listened back to it. Shame. That's silly and that's funny. And that would have been a fun show too. I would have watched that too. But Hawkeye's getting his own show. And we're going to see him train another Hawkeye later on down the road. This series will only be 6 episodes long to my recent knowledge. So this is episode 1. It's called New World Order. So everything in the MCU up to WandaVision in this point is on the table. Okay, so we can spoil, not that to say it will be, but it could be spoiled. So if you're new here, just FYI, you will possibly, and I mean, you probably have been at this. If you watch this show, you probably knowingly have been spoiled about most of the stuff in the MCU up to this point. But you know, just a fair warning. I want to throw it out there. So thoughts going into the show. Before I watched, how will Steve Rogers' legacy be carried on? Captain America left Sam Wilson, aka Falcon, with the shield, but will Bucky feel entitled to it? Now, as the episode went on, we learned that the shield isn't really on Bucky's mind lately. You know, Bucky's got other things on his mind. He's a little swept up in his past, which is kind of honorable, and I really like that. I like that character choice for Bucky. So let's recap a little bit. Let's do a little bit of a recap in terms of characters and where we start in this story of... this is the story of Captain America, is where this starts. So this is the story of Steve. Let's start with Steve Rogers, Steve and Bucky. Steve looked up to Bucky in the beginning of this at one point. Steve basically idolized him. He was a little guy, and Bucky went off to fight in the war, and Steve really wanted to go with him. And Captain America, the first Avenger. It was our 4th, I believe, or 5th installment into the MCU. Man, what a great movie. Always love that movie. Well, as we know, Steve Rogers becomes Captain America with the super soldier serum, and while serving a war together, World War II, Steve thought he lost Bucky in action, and he saw him fall to his death with his own eyes. We thought he was dead too. Looked pretty final. We find out that he was not dead. That not to be true. In Captain America the Winter Soldier. Sorry, the title track, Hydra trained Bucky, brainwashed him, turned him into an assassin to their bidding, and then put him into, Cairo freeze whenever they were done with him. Basically turned him into a puppet, mind control puppet, did whatever, that he had no control over this. Bucky had nothing really to do with this. He was an assassin at the will of Hydra. What the heck? Poor Bucky. This is still Bucky. Like, we gotta really evaluate how much. Like, let's think about for a second how much time has passed for Bucky in all of this. He's been snapped. He's been iced. Man, let's literally at the end of this recap, let's break down for a second how much time has passed for Bucky, because he's really and okay, but anyway, Sam comes into play in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, because he has to help Steve in the Hydra takeover, because he's actually Air Force. He's one of the few Steve Rogers can turn to when he is getting turned on by S.H.I.E.L.D., because S.H.I.E.L.D. is compromised. Hydra has taken over, and Falcon is the one true MVP that Steve Rogers can turn to in this time of doom. And we thought Nick Fury was going to die there for a second, but he didn't. Thank heavens. So Age of Ultron kind of happens. There's in Winter Soldier, we lose Bucky, and he's on the run again. And Age of Ultron happens, and then in Captain America: Civil War, he kind of pops up, and this is where Wanda comes into play, and the terror. The thing in Lagos happens, and then there's a terrorist attack that happens at the UN and kills Black Panther's father, and this sparks the events that leads to the splitting up of the Avengers. So this is everything. Bucky has a lot to do with everything here. He's a big part of everything in the MCU, but he's not the reason, he's the cause. It's just a lot to put on one person. Now, the reason, at the very least, he was affected, and at the very least, and hurt, and he lashed out. Let's not forget the man behind this. At least at this point in Civil War, Helmut Zemo, he lost his family. And Ultron is the turning point in the MCU. We gotta really hone in on Ultron, because Ultron really messed things up for a lot of people. That caused a lot of supervillains. And he lost his family. A lot of spite. So he split up the Avengers, hence leaving the opening for Thanos to collect the stones and snap. Will he be fueled by this? And will this be the motivator for that purple mask that he dons in this MCU version of himself? I have the Marvel Encyclopedia, thanks to Guy Pedigo, and yet I still haven't looked up Helmut Zemo. So I don't know the original OG reason why he's donning that purple helmet, but I'm going to have to look that up. So anyways, after the events of Civil War, when Zemo separated the Avengers, Infinity War happened. As we know, the events of Infinity War happened. Our men, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they got snapped. The Avengers united. 5 years pass, but an instant for Falcon, Sam, and Bucky. An instant passed for them. Steve Rogers goes on a mission with all 6 Infinity Stones back in time, supposed to come back, doesn't, leaving his friend Bucky back, not really leaving too much light in Endgame on what that is doing to Bucky. In my opinion, realizing now, kind of leaving Bucky where we left Cap at the end of the first Captain America movie, a man lost out of his time, a little lost, and we kind of see a little bit of that in this episode. We feel for him, and let's get into the episode. So we start off with Sam. He's in a suit, and he's just looking at the shield. He's reflecting. We don't really know what's happening with it. He's just kind of looking at it, and there's a lot of weight in his shoulders, and we hear we actually hear right before. I didn't mention we hear right before. Like we hear Cap asking him, "How does it feel?" Like it's someone else's, and Cap says it isn't. And there's a lot of weight on Sam's shoulders. You know, you can tell he's bearing a lot of pressure to be the next Captain America, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You know, maybe I wrote that. I thought I wrote that down out of order. You know, maybe I'm wrong. This is the Honest, Mr. Honest. As the name is true. I'm telling you how it is. I might have wrote that down out of order, and I'm not gonna go back and rewind it. You can correct me at marvelmaniacpod@gmail.com, or we can just, you know, you can just tell me how you thought about the episode. What do you guys think? Where do you think it's going? We got 5 more weeks. There's 6 more. There's 6 episodes total, so 5 more weeks. I can't even fathom. I thought there was going to be a little more than this. It's not that I'm disappointed. This episode was longer than I expected in that sense, you know. Some of the WandaVisions were shorter than I expected, so this one was a little bit longer. So, okay. You know, it's give and take. 6 powerful episodes. And I know this one was the most world building one we're going to get, and we got the most action in the beginning on this one. So I'm hoping we get more and more and more as the show goes. Sam is on a plane mission. We started off, Sam is on a plane mission in the desert. Awesome looking plane mission. I like plane missions. And we need to see Sam on a mission. Sam's off on a mission, and I wanted to see Sam on a mission. That's the type of stuff I wanted to see in this show. We got a TV-14 rating. I'm like, all right. I'm like, well, what's the TV-14 entail? Like, what are we going to get? What type of action are we going to get in this Disney Plus show? WandaVision held some pretty cool stuff. Like, what's this extra rating going to get us? Well, I think we got that answer here. I think we got that answer here. So we got some terrorist stuff, like some terrorist infiltration. These guys, LAF, they were some pretty nasty dudes, if you ask me. I thought that was a pretty nasty squatty fun. I got a little jittery during this fight towards the end. So yeah, he's on a plane on a mission to protect a military captain from an organization called LAF. Sam doesn't seem to know much about them at this point. All I know is we're about to get a cool sequence. Sam's sergeant makes it very clear to him that he has to be subtle, because if he crosses enemy lines, it'll just cause a whole big international conflict, and you know how that goes with Avengers in international conflicts. It's just not pretty. There's already Sokovia Accords in place, and it'll cause a mess of things. So Sam just got back from being snapped. We don't want any trouble here, Sam. Falcon, alright? That's basically what he's saying. So I really like the shots of Sam infiltrating the plane here, just him approaching it. I love it. Kind of like the cam shots on his head. I think we may have got some shots like this in some of the movies with him. I know it's not the first time we're seeing them, but like, I don't know. This is his show, so it's showcasing him way better, if you ask me. And reminds me a lot of like the Iron Man shots where we're in his helmet, but I don't know, we're outside, so it's more of a bird's eye view. little pun. We're moving on. Anyway, terrible joke. that little meme where like that guy's like, like he like laughs and like he looks away. It's like not funny. Anyways, Sam does this epic movement through the sky, and he dives, and he has these military guys on the ground communicating with him, just kind of giving him the what on the ground. And Sam gets to the windshield of the enemy plane and realizes it's already been hijacked, and this is why we get assuming the higher rating. There's a guy, like the poor soldier, he has a bullet through the head, and one of the hijackers even notices Sam, but like The other guy, like the main antagonist, he does not even believe. He's like, "No, get out of here. There's nobody on the. You're crazy. You're high." So Falcon uses an infrared goggles to check the situation outside. He then deploys a drone from his back. It's called Red Wing. Maybe a little Stark Tech in there, a little Pym Tech. I don't know where he got this. Later you see him working on it himself. So kind of cool. He detaches and releases. It detaches and releases a red laser on the side of the plane that cuts around the door, so Falcon can get in. And this is one of the coolest sequences we get in the whole episode. I rewound it and watched it 3 times because every superhero must get a closed off awesome hallway scene, and this was Falcon's. Falcon flawlessly takes out 3 of the hijackers, it seems. At least not takes out, stops 3, because I think they get back up later. I was like, how did they get more guys in this plane? I'm like, we must have just knocked 3 of them down, and they got back up. One of them starts shooting him, and he like puts up, his wings to shield him, and it ricochets back at him. Kills the pilot. Pretty sure he kills the pilot. I could see, the Team 14 rating again. The autopilot activates, and then the Falcon and the leader they start going at it, exchange of blows. Really great fight sequence. But then the leader makes like this turn, and then the accomplices they shield him and start gunning at Falcon. And I love I just love this fight. I really am angry at the way this guy's escaping because I really want Falcon to get him. But I know he's not gonna, because Falcon's gotta fly, and this guy's not gonna just get, Falcon's not just gonna get this guy. This guy gets away in a wingsuit, of course, and Falcon is gonna chase him through the sky, and I freaking love this. This is one of the best sequences you could have asked for the opening of the show, and I really liked it. What else could I ask? I mean, CGI was on point. I don't even like saying CGI. I'm that invested in the show. I don't need to really point out the CGI. I mean, I was on a whirlwind of an adventure with Falcon in the air. Let's just go through a play-by-play. I got it all. Let's go through a play-by-play of what happened. In the air. Okay. So the leader, he makes a turn, and he escapes with wingsuits, but not for long. Sam starts chasing them through the rocky canyons. This scene is so epic and visually stunning. I wrote, the helicopter started chasing Falcon, and then another helicopter shows up. This is such an insanely epic scene. This is the type of stuff I'm writing when I'm watching this, and I'm thinking I'm writing detailed notes, but I'm like telling you that what's coming out of my head, right? And then I'm going into my notes thinking I'm about to tell you something more detailed, and then I'm going into my notes basically telling you that my notes are just saying, yeah, really epic, insanely epic, yeah, real epic stuff here. Luckily, Falcon still has Red Wing to his aid. Red Wing gets rockets. It has rockets on the side, and it releases and destroys one of the helicopters. And then Falcon and Red Wing, they're just flying in formation together, zooming in and out. They do some really awesome moves. Then Falcon grapples a guy and pulls him out of the helicopter, and then takes the second helicopter down. Falcon then notices there's a third helicopter way off on the horizon, and he pounces on it. Then we see it's the main hijackers there. He's sort of boasting that if they cross the border, that Falcon won't continue to pursue them. And at that very moment, Sam is in the plane with them. And he's pursuing them, and it's just kind of funny. It's like a pan shot. He's there. He's like, "What's up?" It was awesome. And this is where missiles come into play. And when missiles come into play, things like tensions get high. Tensions always get high. It doesn't matter, like, it doesn't matter really to me, like, how often it happens in what scenario, in what movie. Like, if it's X-Men First Class, or, you know, you put them into play for me, I'm worrying. And I had my on the edge of my seat. I'm not gonna lie. I don't care if I know there's a whole series following 5 episodes. I'm on the edge of my seat here. So Falcon's rushing through the desert with missiles chasing after him, and towards the leader, you know, of this association or whatever, towards their helicopter. It's just so awesome. And this is the Falcon scene I always needed. Never knew I needed before. What a great opening sequence to the show. What an awesome opening sequence to the show. He succeeds, obviously, of course, and saves the day. Tunisia is where we go next. Sam's working on Red Wing. It's a little shop with his friend Torres. We get to know Torres a little bit through this episode. Not much, but we do. We get to see Torres a little bit. I believe he's going to be a recurring character. So, seems cool. I'd like to get to know him a little bit better. But I think we will. He tells Sam about the Flag Smashers. Okay, these mass individuals. And it seems like they have these things. They pull up their phones and there's like these crypto like, you know, like it's invisible. Like you'll hold your phone up to a wall and then it'll be like this invisible kind of art. And I don't know. I don't really know what's going on, but they, I don't really know. They like wish the snap happened. They're happy the snap happened. They're called Flag Smashers and they wish the snap happened, and they're bad people. And I don't know if they have any association with Zemo. I'm thinking they may be getting up there with Zemo. I'm guessing that Zemo was happy with the snap. I don't know. He wanted to die, so I'm assuming I'm thinking maybe his associations fell somewhere in line with Thanos. I don't know. Very, very curious. Very curious into where Zemo's like brain is and all this. So Torres mentions he thinks that Steve is like on the moon looking down on Earth. That's like a nice theory. So we go back to Washington, and like I said, I believe when Sam was looking down to the shield, I believe like that was a cut to him going like before the ceremony, in my opinion. Like when we saw him looking down at the shield. I don't know for sure, but in my opinion, that's what that was, and at least that's what it reminded me of watching it, thinking about it when I started talking about it, the episode, thinking about the end of the episode and thinking about him looking down at that shield. It's great to see Don Cheadle. Always great to see Don Cheadle, aka Colonel Rhodes, aka Iron Patriot. Would have been better to see him in his armor, but hey, if he's in the show, maybe we will. There's no telling what we'll see in the show. You never know in the MCU. It turns out this was a ceremony honoring Steve Rogers as Captain America, which is fantastic. Steve Rogers deserves every ceremony for being Captain America. Absolutely. But Steve Rogers didn't want his shield in a museum. He wanted, he wanted Sam to be Captain America. We know this as the audience, so it's a little disappointing. And yes, it's very disappointing. It turns out he will not be the next Captain America like Steve said he would and wanted. Rhodes and Sam are walking through the Captain America exhibit. They do pass a picture of Bucky. It's very hard to watch Sam give up the shield. While him and Rhodes are at the end of the museum, Sam said he feels like the shield belongs to someone else, and that someone else is Steve. And in that scene, he's just walking around, and all of the Captain America propaganda surrounding him, and it's like eating him alive. It's almost like he can't escape the red, white, and blue. It's meant for him. It's eating him alive. He's born for it, and he can't escape it. Everywhere he looks, there's the shield, and he can't turn away from it, really. I'm very captivated by it. There's a lot of depth to the characters so far. What a wonderful, wonderful freaking ground we're setting for these characters. See, I didn't expect Bucky to be where he is character-wise. Either that or I didn't put enough thought into it. And maybe that's blind ignorance, or maybe that's just, I don't know. Maybe I just put, I have not seen that character fleshed out or thought out enough on screen, but I love what I'm seeing so far. Let's talk a little bit about Bucky and what he is going through. A little more on the short side of the story for Bucky on screen this time, and that's okay. We're just laying some simple groundwork for Bucky, short but sweet. That's okay. We see Bucky on a mission. He's executing like a whole hotel room recklessly. We don't really know what he's doing there at the time, but we know he's really hurting people, and he hurts a young man, right? We cut back to present day Bucky in therapy, and he kind of like snaps out of it, and the therapist is inquiring about dreams he's having lately and whatnot, and this leads to this lady's actually like some pretty, she's pretty funny, but I also I don't know, I have some kind of issues with how she handles herself as a therapist, but whatever. All things are off the table in the MCU. I'm realizing now this is a different world. You need to maybe take some different hands-on approaches if people can enter your brain and stuff, without your consent. So I don't know. Yeah, the Bucky's so closed off, and I would be too. If you think about it. Man, Bucky's brain. I don't think I actually did go through the timeline of how long Bucky. Let's think about this. Bucky. I mean, he went to World War II. He fought in the war. He gets. I mean, how many years would that be? Probably. Let's give it 3. Let's maybe say 3 to 4 years fighting in a war. Training, fighting. In World War II, battles, tents, camps, non-stop, waiting to go home, never going home, falling off the cliff. I'm not laughing. This is incredible what this man has been through in this canon, and then he gets captured by this. In his perception, this is just okay, so once he gets captured, he gets experiments on. This is all haze. He can barely remember anything. So his consciousness is barely even. Once after he fell off that cliff, his consciousness was just so deprived, and it's almost like he was just half there. And he's just trying to make amends right now with the people he dealt with as Winter Soldier. And it's just a really great scene with him trying to deal with these rules he's made in therapy, and trying to tell his therapist if he abided by them and how closely he abided by them with this this lady. And it's just unbelievable how they use comedy in this show. It's really funny, this show, at the same time. I'm really liking it so far. I'm no longer the Winter Soldier. I am James Bucky Barnes, and you are a part of my efforts to make amends. That's really good. I really like that part. That was a great part. I don't know any therapists that asked you to look at your phone. That's a big invasion of your privacy. But Bucky kind of points that out, and but like she goes on to point like she's a ex-military herself. So I wonder if that makes it different too. Bucky's been through so much. It's just different circumstances for different people, I suppose. So we're going back. Bucky's having a drink with a man named Yuri. We learned that he had a son who was killed. Let's just have a moment. He has a bad feeling. He has a bad feeling about how it happened. So do I, Yuri. I have a little bit of a bad feeling about how it happened. Bucky looks like he does too. Oh man, this is looking terrible for Bucky. It feels so bad for Bucky. Things are just getting bad in the tummy. Feeling nasty. We cut back to Sam. We're intersplicing scenes a little bit faster now. We're just laying, we gotta start laying groundwork here. At some point, there's gotta be a little less action. And in one episode, there's gotta be a groundwork episode. We gotta meet characters so we can care about them and have action-packed, awesome superhero moments later in which the heroes can save the day and their supporting actors can care about them, and the groundwork was laid, and that's why these shows will be great. I feel silly for saying that. I feel like I don't think you are dumb. Sometimes I say things like this to enjoy the show for myself. I'll say these things to myself. I appreciate you listener. I'm sorry. I make these things late as they come out, and I love doing it. It's my pleasure to do it. And you are amazing for listening. We get the chance to meet Sam's sister, Sarah, who has been holding down the home front and taking care of the family business and boat, which Sam definitely doesn't want to get rid of. So, we're just getting to meet Sam's home front and whatnot, and a little bit more of the home life, similar to how we met Hawkeye's family in Ultron. Feels like a lot like that. Even a little more so. Bucky is talking with, playing Battleship with Yuri's daughter, who is a really nice girl, but she's just asking him a lot of simple questions that somebody who fought in World War II and is from another time period, really specific questions that somebody like him would probably be triggered by. Imagine just being somebody who, literally, it made me think, man, I made me realize if I were from another time period in a current time period, I would feel really out of place. I would miss my parents so much if I instantly died and know that they lived a whole life thinking, man, he's going to be alive in a whole other time period away from me. That made me feel so isolated, how weird is that? Think about it. His parents didn't know that. His parents probably thought he died in the war. But it makes you think a little bit. It's still an isolating feeling regardless. And then all out, it's making Bucky just riddled with guilt. He's riddled with guilt. When Bucky goes to approach Yuri, because he kind of storms out on his daughter, she was just like, "Where are you from? What's your parents like?" And he kind of triggered him, so he left and he went right to Yuri, and he saw a picture of his son that he lost, and obviously Bucky murdered. Just so sad, and. Bucky, it's just not, it's his fault, and he's putting it all on his own shoulders, and he's the reverse Steve Rogers. Steve went into the ice and came out a hero. Bucky went into the Cairo chamber and came out a villain, and Steve got to go back in time and got to go be with the love of his life and look Bucky in the eye almost, and I don't know. That look between them, it was like loving, but also like, I don't know. Like, it was almost like, bye, but like, how could Steve leave Bucky back there in the future alone with all that weight on his shoulders? It's so much to deal with. Maybe just because he knows Bucky's so strong and knows he's going to be able to deal with it. And maybe he knows that Sam is strong enough to pass the mantle on to Bucky. Maybe Bucky's the one that needs to become Captain America. Where is this going? This is so intriguing, right? Maybe they're both Captain America somehow. Two sides of one shield somehow. What's going on? This is interesting. I'm very curious. But anyway, I feel terrible for Bucky, and I want him. He did murder people, but it was under the control of others, under complete, basically, magic. What? I don't know what that is. I'm going to act like it's not happening because I like what I'm saying, and I don't know how to edit it out. There's no trucks moving back at 4:57 a.m. I don't think, but whatever. Okay, so we're like in Switzerland right now, and this is like kind of like a big moment of the episode. Taurus is infiltrating one of these flag smasher meetups, and it's kind of real low key for a moment. He's on his phone. He's looking for where this meetup is happening. He's like kind of asking, he's like, what do I do? What am I gonna, like, where do I start? What am I supposed to do? And he grabs a mask out of a bag, and this is kind of how I guess they got people involved. They tell people to meet up here. You grab a mask, and this is how they take advantage of the chaos. Like they robbed a bank or something. And then they took advantage of the chaos with all the people in the mask, and all the people ran everywhere, and oh man, it was insane. And this poor Torres guy, he got first blamed for the robbery and was almost arrested. He murked his way out of that. Good job, Torres. That was sweet, triple dip, whatever you did, 180 move on the cop. You're like, nope. Ditch the mask. Runs into basically a super soldier, superpower individual. I don't know who it was, what it was, but he ran into something, and he was bigger, stronger. He was more powerful than he was. I don't know what he was, but it was concerning, and yeah. So we don't know what that was. It was very scary. He called Sam about it, and he informs him about it. So we're going to probably find out a little more about it next episode. Sam sees a picture, and we're informed. He's informed. So Sam and Sarah go to the bank. They try to get a loan to save their business. Even though the banker recognizes it as Falcon, they have a nice, funny little moment. They don't get the loan. No, they walk away very disappointed. Very sad moment. Kind of shows a little bit of reality in like the situation. I was even thinking in the episode, and when they were on the docks, I'm like, dude, he's an Avenger. Like, do you really want me to believe that like this guy's sitting at Avengers complexes half the day, and he doesn't have like a paycheck to feed his family? You know what I mean? But he's like, it doesn't really work like that. I mean, I don't know. It really kind of should have worked something like that. Tony Stark has the money, but maybe we'll learn a little bit more. I don't know, man. Let's think. Let's see. We'll see. Anyway, back to the most intriguing part and the ending of the episode. No post-credit scene to what I saw, unless I will be corrected. And I'm to be stand correct. I will to be stand corrected. I didn't see one. I skimmed to the end. It's back at home. Sam's sitting at home and on the TV. There's a big announcement. The government brings out a brand new, spanking new, pretty boy Captain America. I don't know who this new Cap is, but he's definitely very reminiscent of the government-made original Steve Rogers, like, propaganda Cap. You know what I mean? A cap for the people, a cap for, a hope Cap. This is for you, Cap, Why, Sam, you should have kept it, man. I'm disappointed. I'm so sad. I don't like seeing this. This is the bad timeline. We don't want to see this timeline. We know Sam's gonna get that shield back somehow, right? I don't know. Okay, let's turn to Reddit for some top comments and see what the internet has to say so far. Like immediately, let's see what they're thinking. Okay, I'm sorting by top comments on our Reddit, Marvel Studios, and you just go there too and join that page. It's a great place for theories, and it's a great supportive fan hub, and it's a great contained place. I love it. Love being there. So, top comment, Jason31, the opening fight scene is easily Sam's best action sequence. My God, I agree, Jason. Amazing scene. Replied, Hell Knight X said, Baytrock is almost as good at flying as he is at leaping. Cool. Let's see the next comment. Frank Ocean 2 says, okay, Bucky is on My Name is Earl type of mission to try and undo all the effed up things he did. Very dark, but I would absolutely watch that specific show. I'm just trying to be a better partner of My Name is Bucky Earl Barnes. That's funny. The Sweatband said, Rhodey cameo, didn't expect that, although I feel like I should have. Was hoping for a Ross cameo. Hell Knight said. That's funny. I'm sorry, I don't mean for my reply to be that's funny for everything. I just really that's kind of just me in my head on Reddit all the time. I'll try to be more unique. Rice and Eggs said, I guess being instrumental in saving half of all life in the universe doesn't mean you get paid it doesn't mean you get paid enough to help your sister out financially, right? What the heck? Like, doesn't Stark have some sort of backup plan for each Avenger, at least a couple $1,000 aside? DJ Vaultboy says, to be honest, I know it's out of goodwill, but Tony literally could have provided out some of them with a stable income, regardless if it's whack. Saving the universe doesn't net you enough to pay the bills, right? Oh my God. Well, good God. Yeah, I don't even need to read anymore. I'm thinking same thing. I just don't like the writing. That's just maybe a little in the writing, is what I'm thinking. But let's not be too angry at that. Banner said the new Cap seems to have the most punchable face. That's you know what, I think they did cast him that way. I'm sorry, but I don't mean to be mean to the actor, but they casted that guy punchable. They put a casting call for punchable face. Much respect to the actor. The next comment, I didn't read this comment. I did not read this comment, I swear to God. Nitronic Fury, that's definitely intentional casting. We're supposed to root for Sam to get the shield back. Bro, that's so good. King of Awesome Topia also replied, I know it's Wyatt Russell, who is a handsome dude, but he looks like the John Ralphio helmet. One more comment. The Sweatband, lots of great comments. The Sweatband, love that we get all this backstory into characters we don't normally get to spend enough time with in the movie. Same. Seeing Sam's family situation and how it affects him is compelling. Excited to see where it goes. Absolutely. I'm going to read this next comment because it's relating to what I was just talking about. I wasn't going to, but Mr. Dude 65 says, I like this too. It's a good point in that the movies don't get a chance to touch on these folks have families and they might not all get to live at the Avengers compound. Right. He gets to live there and it might be great. He gets to go there and train there. It's a training facility. Okay. This reality is, it's making sense. I'm starting to get it. Okay, I really like it. I'm loving this show. It's building lore. Oh my god, this show is getting good. MCU is getting awesome. More awesome by the day. Oh, the Falcon and Winter Soldier is hyping me up. Where's it going? Zemo is a shadow in the dark. His presence lurking in the shadow like a shark. Yeah, he's Jaws. Where is he? When's he gonna pop up? How is he gonna pop up? He's evil in the night. I have no idea. Anyway, it's getting late over here, and this show's getting a little long. But just as I learned the seasons are getting shorter, episodes are running longer, as will we. This has been Marvel Maniac and MCU After Show for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, not Hawkeye and the Winter Soldier. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 1, titled New World Order. I like that episode title. And if this is your first time joining us, I gotta say thank you. If this is your 11th or your 3rd or whatever, if you're just popping in after a while, thank you for coming back. Thank you for being here. You guys are amazing. Any support goes a long way. If you haven't, leave a review for the show. It literally will give you good luck for like 10 years. I mean it. Follow me at Mr. Honest Podcast, at ERICSEQUEIRA on Twitter, Eric Cicada, at Marvel Maniac Pod, and we do accept donations on PayPal at Mr. Honest Podcast on PayPal. Everything goes right back into the show to keep pumping out content for you. We're not going anywhere. We will be right back at you next week, next Friday, for the 2nd episode of Falcon, the Falcon, and the Winter Soldier. You guys have a fantastic week, and I'm going to be just sprucing up my shield, looking at it, reflecting, and putting names on my list, of people to make amends with. I'm going to stop riffing. Marvel Maniac Podcast at gmail.com with your thoughts. I've gone through everything 10 times. We'll see you next week. Avengers disassemble.